I was 3 days away from my wedding when my phone rang. It was a mortgage company calling about my late payment on a $1.8 million house. I do not own a house, I said. According to our records, you do, they replied. You purchased it 8 months ago. That is when I realized my sister had stolen my identity and destroyed my entire financial life right before the biggest day of my life. My name is Rebecca, and I am 30 years old. I live in Denver, Colorado, where I work as a high school science teacher. I was engaged to my fiancé James, who is a civil engineer. We had been together for 4 years and engaged for 1 year. Our wedding was planned for Saturday, September 16th at a beautiful venue in the mountains outside Denver. Everything was perfect. The dress was altered and hanging in my closet. The flowers were ordered. The cake was designed. The venue was paid for. Our families were flying in from all over the country. James and I were so excited. After a year of planning, everything was finally coming together. My older sister, Nicole, is 34. She lives in Los Angeles where she works in real estate. Or at least, that is what she told everyone. Nicole has always been the flashy one in our family. Designer clothes, expensive cars, luxury vacations. She lived a lifestyle that seemed way above what a real estate agent should be able to afford, but I never questioned it. I figured she was just good at her job and made good commissions. Nicole and I were not particularly close. We had grown up competing with each other. She was the pretty popular one. I was the quiet, studious one. As adults, we saw each other at family events and talked occasionally, but we were not best friends or anything. When I got engaged, Nicole seemed genuinely happy for me. She offered to help with wedding planning. She gave me advice about vendors and venues. She even offered to pay for my bachelorette party, which she did, throwing me an amazing weekend in Scottsdale with my friends. I thought she was being a good sister. I thought we were finally connecting as adults. I had no idea what she was really doing. It was Wednesday, September 13th. 3 days before my wedding. I was at school between classes when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost did not answer, but something made me pick up. Hello, this is Rebecca. Hello, Ms. Rebecca Patterson. This is David Chen from Summit Mountain Mortgage. I am calling regarding your past due payment on your mortgage account. I was confused. I think you have the wrong number. I do not have a mortgage. I rent an apartment. There was a pause. Is this Rebecca Ann Patterson? Social Security number ending in 4729. My stomach dropped. That was my Social Security number. Yes, that is me, but I do not have a mortgage with you. According to our records, you took out a mortgage with us 8 months ago for a property at 2847 Ridgeview Estate Drive in Cherry Hills Village. The loan amount was $1.8 million. I felt like I could not breathe. What? That is not possible. I never bought a house. I never applied for a mortgage. There must be some kind of mistake. I am looking at your application right now. Submitted January 15th. Approved January 30th. Closed February 10th. You have missed your last 2 payments, which is why I am calling. This has to be fraud, I said. Someone stole my identity. I never applied for any mortgage. That is a serious accusation. Do you have any idea who might have access to your personal information? No, I said, but my mind was already racing. Who could have done this? Who had access to my Social Security number, my financial information, my signature? I need you to send me copies of all the paperwork, I said. The application, the loan documents, everything. Right now. I can do that. But I need to inform you that this account is seriously delinquent. If payment is not received within 10 days, we will begin foreclosure proceedings. Foreclosure proceedings on a house I did not own. This could not be happening. I need to see the documents first, I said. Send everything to my email. He took my email address and said I would have the documents within the hour. I walked out of my classroom in a daze. I found the vice principal and told him I had a family emergency and needed to leave immediately. He could see something was seriously wrong and told me to go. I drove home, barely able to focus on the road. My mind was spinning. Someone had stolen my identity. Someone had taken out a $1.8 million mortgage in my name. Someone had bought a mansion and stuck me with the bill. When I got home, the email was waiting for me. I opened the attachments with shaking hands. There it was. A mortgage application in my name. My social security number. My employment information. Bank statements I had never seen. Pay stubs that were not mine, showing income 3 times what I actually made. And a signature that looked like mine, but was not quite right. Someone had forged all of this. Someone had created fake financial documents showing I could afford a $1.8 million house. Someone had practiced my signature until they could reproduce it well enough to fool a mortgage company. I kept scrolling through the documents. Then I saw it. An emergency contact listed on the application. Nicole Patterson. Sister. My blood went cold. I pulled up the property records for the address. 2847 Ridgeview Estate Drive. I found it online. It was a massive modern mansion in Cherry Hills Village, one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in Denver. 6 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, pool, home theater, wine cellar. Listed purchase price $2.2 million. And the current owner, according to public records, was Rebecca Ann Patterson. Me. I looked at the photos of the house. It was gorgeous. Exactly the kind of house Nicole would love. Modern, luxurious, flashy. Then I saw something in one of the photos. In the background of a shot of the living room there was a piece of mail on the counter. I zoomed in. It was addressed to Nicole Patterson. My sister was living in the house she had bought using my identity. I called her immediately. She answered on the 3rd ring, sounding cheerful. Hey, Becca. What is up? Are you getting excited for the wedding? Nicole, I said, my voice shaking. I just got a call from a mortgage company. About a house I supposedly bought. A $1.8 million house in Cherry Hills Village. Silence. Nicole. Are you living in a house you bought using my identity? More silence. Then she said, her voice different now. Becca, I can explain. You stole my identity, I said. You committed fraud. You took out a mortgage in my name and bought yourself a mansion. It was not supposed to affect you, she said. I was making all the payments. Everything was fine. I just needed to use your credit because mine was not good enough to qualify for the loan I needed. Not supposed to affect me, I repeated. Nicole, you destroyed my credit. You put me $1.8 million in debt. You committed a felony. I was handling it, she insisted. I made the payments for 8 months. Everything was fine until my income got disrupted. I just need a little more time to catch up. You are behind on the payments, I said. They are threatening to foreclose. Do you understand what you have done to me? I am sorry, she said, but she did not sound sorry. She sounded annoyed that she had been caught. I will figure it out. I will get caught up on the payments. You do not need to worry about it. I do not need to worry about it, I said, my voice rising. Nicole, my wedding is in 3 days. 3 days. And you just told me I am in massive debt for a house I did not buy. How am I supposed to not worry about that? Do not tell James, she said quickly. Do not tell anyone. I will fix this. Just give me some time. I am calling the police, I said. Right now. What you did is identity theft. It is mortgage fraud. You are going to prison for this. You would really do that to your own sister, she asked, right before your wedding. You would really cause that kind of family drama. You caused this, I said. Not me. You. I hung up and immediately called the police. The police took my report seriously. Identity theft and mortgage fraud are major crimes. They sent a detective to my apartment that evening. I showed him all the documents. I explained everything. He said they would open an investigation immediately. Then I had to call James. He was at work. I told him he needed to come home right away. That something had happened. He could hear the panic in my voice and said he would leave immediately. When he got home, I told him everything. About the call from the mortgage company. About the house. About Nicole. About the fact that I was apparently $1.8 million in debt 3 days before our wedding. He was shocked, then angry, then worried. "We are still getting married, right?" he asked. "I do not know," I said. "James, my credit is destroyed. I am in massive debt. There is going to be a criminal investigation. My sister is probably going to be arrested. How can we start our marriage like this?" "We will figure it out," he said. "But Rebecca, you did not do anything wrong. You are the victim here. We are still getting married on Saturday. But what if we cannot?" I said. "What if this ruins everything?" "It will not," he promised. "We will get through this together." Over the next 2 days, everything spiraled out of control. The detective investigating my case discovered that Nicole had committed even more fraud than I knew about. She had not just taken out the mortgage. She had also opened 3 credit cards in my name, taken out a car loan in my name, and racked up over $2,000 in total debt. My credit score had gone from excellent to terrible. I had collection notices for things I never bought. I had debt I never agreed to. My entire financial life had been destroyed. And Nicole had done it all while pretending to be a supportive sister, while helping me plan my wedding, while throwing me a bachelorette party. She had been stealing from me the entire time. The police arrested her on Friday, the day before my wedding. They went to the mansion and took her into custody. She tried to claim I had given her permission to use my credit, that we had an agreement. But the evidence was overwhelming. She had forged my signature. She had created fake financial documents. She had committed fraud. My parents were devastated. They could not believe Nicole would do something like this. They begged me not to press charges, to handle it privately as a family, to give Nicole a chance to make it right. But I could not. What she had done was not just wrong. It was criminal. She had destroyed my financial life. She had put me in debt that would take years to resolve. She had done it deliberately and without remorse. I told my parents I was pressing charges, that Nicole would have to face the consequences of her actions. They were upset with me. They said I was tearing the family apart, that I was being vindictive and cruel. But I was the victim, not Nicole. Saturday arrived, my wedding day, but instead of getting ready in a suite with my bridesmaids, I was on the phone with my lawyer and the credit bureaus trying to start the process of disputing all the fraudulent accounts. James came to me that morning. "We can postpone," he said. "We can reschedule for when this is all sorted out. I will understand." I looked at him. This wonderful man who had supported me through the worst 72 hours of my life, who had not once blamed me or questioned me, who had stood by me when my own family was turning against me. "No," I said. "We are getting married today. I am not letting Nicole take this from me too." So we got married. And it was beautiful, smaller than we planned because some family members did not come. My parents attended, but they barely spoke to me. Nicole was obviously not there. She was in jail. But James was there. And his family was there, and my closest friends were there. And we said our vows, and became husband and wife despite everything that had happened. At the reception, my maid of honor gave a toast. She talked about how I was the strongest person she knew, how I had faced an impossible situation and still showed up, how I chose love and commitment even when everything else was falling apart. I cried, not sad tears, grateful tears, because even though the week before my wedding had been a nightmare, I still got to marry the man I loved. The legal aftermath took months. Nicole was charged with identity theft, mortgage fraud, and multiple counts of fraud. She pleaded guilty to avoid trial. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison and ordered to pay restitution. The restitution was a joke. She had no money. Everything she had spent was gone. The mansion went into foreclosure. The cars were repossessed. The credit cards were maxed out. There was nothing to recover. I had to work with credit bureaus and lenders to clear my name. It was a long, painful process. Filling out fraud reports, providing documentation, proving over and over that I had not authorized any of these accounts. It took over a year, but eventually my credit was mostly restored. The debts were removed from my name. The mortgage was discharged. The house was sold in foreclosure. I was no longer financially responsible for Nicole crimes. But the damage to my family was permanent. My parents blamed me for sending Nicole to prison. They said I should have forgiven her, that family should stick together, that I had destroyed our family for money. But it was not about money. It was about trust. It was about integrity. It was about holding people accountable for their actions, even when those people are family. Nicole served 2 years of her sentence and was released on parole. I heard through family that she moved to another state and was trying to rebuild her life. She never apologized to me. She never acknowledged what she had done. She just moved on like nothing had happened. My parents and I have a distant relationship now. We talk occasionally. We see each other at major holidays. But the warmth is gone. They never forgave me for pressing charges against Nicole. But James and I are stronger than ever. We bought our own house, a modest 3-bedroom that we actually could afford. We built our life together the right way. No fraud, no shortcuts, no lies. Sometimes people ask me if I regret pressing charges, if I wish I had handled it differently, if I think I was too harsh on my sister. And the answer is always no. What Nicole did was not a mistake. It was not a momentary lapse in judgment. It was a calculated, deliberate scheme that she carried out over months. She stole my identity. She destroyed my credit. She committed fraud. And she did it all while pretending to care about me. She deserved to face consequences. And I deserved justice. My name is Rebecca. I am 31 years old. My sister stole my identity to buy a mansion. I discovered the fraud 3 days before my wedding. My wedding day became a blur of police reports and family drama. But I married the love of my life anyway, and I would do it all the same way again. Because some things are more important than keeping the peace. Things like honesty and justice, and refusing to let someone get away with destroying your life, just because they are family. Nicole stole from me. But she did not steal my wedding day. She did not steal my marriage. She did not steal my future. I took all of that back, and I built a life I am proud of. A life based on truth and hard work and real love. Nicole is living with the consequences of her choices. I am living with mine. And I know which one of us sleeps better at night.